Hello, everyone, and happy Football Sunday. Welcome into the Money Down NFL show presented by BetPrep right here on the Draft Network's YouTube channel with me and Brentley Weissman. Jaime Eisner will be rejoining us very soon, but until then, me and Brentley are going to hold down the fort. And each week, you all know you will join us to give you all betting advice, tips, and trends to hopefully follow, to hopefully help you walk away with some extra money in your pocket. All right, Brentley, we've got another week where NFL storylines continue to stay atop all of the headlines. One of the more recent ones that everyone's talking about, OBJ found a new home with the Los Angeles Rams, saying goodbye to Believe Land, a.k.a. Cleveland, with a handwritten note, very heartfelt. Brentley, we've already seen Baltimore fall in Week 10. Are you ready for the rest of Week 10 action?
I'm extremely ready, Kelsey. I mean, whether it was Cam signing, OBJ signing, Baltimore going down on the road against Miami, which I may have lost some money, a little bit on Thursday night. I'm trying to win it. Trying to win it back today. But yes, very excited. We have a lot of good games on the docket, so it should be a fun Sunday.
Yeah, I'm so happy you mentioned Cam Newton returning to Carolina. I said, karma sometimes has a crazy way of repeating itself. You never know when you might need that old thing back, and lo and behold, now Carolina gets Cam Newton back. I thought that was huge. It was great. We were all saying, Brentley, when would Cam be signed? And who knew it would be the home team?
Been saying it for 5 weeks, I feel like, and I think it all worked out for him. Really happy for Cam. He deserves it, so I'm excited to see him hopefully on the field next week.
Yeah, hopefully you can help change things around for that Carolina Panthers team. All right,
Can't
Brentley,
get worse with Darnold.
Very true. Very true. I think many in Carolina are saying, finally, they have something to be happy about and someone to cheer for in Carolina. Let's go to our first game on the docket, Brentley. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Las Vegas Raiders. We have AFC West rivals Kansas City and Las Vegas meeting in football night in America. The visiting Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. The number looks like it could possibly head it towards 3, but for now, the total is 52.5. Las Vegas is featuring a new face in town, and Deshaun Jackson joining the Raiders. And the Raiders are trying to bounce back after a loss to the New York Football Giants, while the Chiefs are improving to 5-4 on the season, taking care of Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers last week. The Chiefs are coming back. They're getting their mojo back, Brentley, but will it be enough to get the win today?
Yeah, I think, both of these teams are kind of heading in opposite directions. The Chiefs are getting their mojo back. They're on a win streak, while the Raiders, are coming off an embarrassing loss, on the road against the Giants. And I know they were dealing with stuff off the field, the Henry Ruggs tragedy. It was a heavy on the organization, but you had to win that game. That being said, I don't really love the line for either team. I could easily see the Raiders covering and beating the Chiefs, or I could see a Chiefs blowout. So I'm going to stick with the under here because, look, I think both of these offenses, while they're potent, they're struggling. The Chiefs are coming off a game where they scored, or really they're averaging 9 points over the last 3 games. 9 points over the last 3 games with Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelsey. It's nuts. They're in a complete funk. Mahomes is pressing. Last week against the Packers, they had total 237 yards. I remember the days Mahomes used to get that in one quarter or the first half. Like, they're really struggling. And the Raiders offense, they have no identity without Henry Ruggs. He really was a big part of their offense, being able to take the top off, open things up underneath. Carr is coming off his worst game, of the season against the Giants. I just don't think both offenses are going to do well. I think both of these defenses are playing good football now. The Chiefs are actually turning around with Frank Clark. The Raiders pass rush with Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby is one of the best in the league. The Chiefs are down to their third string right tackle. I think Andrew Riley's going to be starting out there, which is not good for the Chiefs offense. So I don't anticipate fireworks here. I think it's a low-scoring game. I'm taking the under.
All right. All good reasons, like you said. I mean, Las Vegas is dealing with a lot. The devil works hard, but the Las Vegas PR team is working harder, right? Because they've had just so many things off the field to deal with. And you talked about the Chiefs, Brentley. They're just not the same old Chiefs team. Like you said, we're not seeing this explosiveness that they've had for so long. But for my pick, look, back in the spring, the look-ahead line for this game had the Chiefs as 7.5-point road favorites. That is nowhere near, right? Nowhere near the case this point of the season. Brentley, you hit on all the points that the Chiefs are struggling in. And Kansas City is 2-7 against the spread on the season. And those two against the spread wins happen to come on the road. So trusting the numbers, trusting the facts, give me Chiefs at -2.5 for my pick for this game. But again, I think before the season, we were much more looking forward to this game because we thought the Chiefs would be who we thought they were, but now we know who the Chiefs are. And again, just many questions surrounding this Chiefs team that we are currently seeing. All right, Brentley, let's head to our next game. We've got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Green Bay Packers, and some new news. On Saturday, the team officially activated Aaron Rodgers, the defending league MVP, off of the reserve COVID-19 list. The Seahawks activated Russell Wilson and rookie receiver Dee Eskridge from their respective stints on IR. But the Seahawks will be without running back Chris Carson. So something to look at as we look at this game. The two prime quarterbacks are back in action for this conference matchup. The Packers are 3-point favorites. The total for this game is 49.5. Brentley, what are you liking in this one?
This game to me is probably the best game of the day. You're getting really top tier quarterback matchup with Russell Wilson both returning and Aaron Rodgers returning. Whenever these two guys play, they're gonna be it's very close games. And so I like the Seahawks here. This Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, when we can get them as underdogs, it normally pays really well. They're 12-4 in their last 16 games as an underdog. This matchup to me is in the Seahawks' favor. The last time we saw this offense, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, both had huge games. The Packers' defense is still without Za'Darius Smith and Jaire Alexander. I think they're going to be able to do enough to keep this game close. Now, I kind of like the Packers to win this game, but again, I have too much respect for Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, the Seattle organization to keep this game close. So I'm taking the points here, and I'm riding with the Seahawks.
All right, riding high with the Seahawks, Brentley. And for my pick, both the Seahawks and Packers are expected, as you said, to have their franchise quarterbacks back under center this week. I do believe that will make a difference. In each of their last three meetings between these two teams, the favorite has covered and won. So for this one, for my pick, give me the Packers at -3. Sticking to it, feeling comfortable with it, Brentley, and we will see what happens next or this today.
I don't like going head to head with you.
I know, Brentley. We do it often, and only one of us can come out on top, so we shall see.
It's not normally me, unfortunately.
And I'm hoping that luck continues for me. I'm sorry, Brentley. I'm sorry. Heading to our next matchup, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Washington football team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Washington, D.C. today as 10-point road favorites. Last time these two teams met, it was the Buccaneers wild card matchup against the Washington football team. The total is 50.5. Washington will be without Montez Sweat, who was placed on injured reserve and is out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken jaw. Ouch. And more emphasis is being placed on Chase Young. The football team's all-pro guard, Brandon Sheriff, returns today, though, so hopefully that's good news for those here in Washington. Talk about a difference maker. In the last 3 seasons, the Washington football team has gone 0-12 in Brandon Sheriff's absence. Crazy stat. On Tampa Bay side, it's a no-go today for Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, and Rashard Robinson, all ruled out. So lots of big names I feel like missing in this one, Brentley. But tell me, who are you feeling comfortable with to win this matchup?
Well, to win, I'd love Tampa, but I don't love this spread. -10 on the road. That's something I just can't get behind. But that being said, I really don't feel comfortable betting on the football team just because we've seen Tampa blow out inferior teams already this season. So I'm going to stick with the over-under here. I'm going to go over 50.5. One thing we know about Tampa Bay is they're going to score points. They're averaging 32.5 points per game this season. That's number one in the entire NFL. Tom Brady's having an MVP-type year. And even without AB and Rob Gronkowski, you still have Mike Evans. You still have Chris Godwin. Leonard Fournette's running the football really, really well. This offense is clicking on all cylinders. And then on the defense for Washington football team, they're the third worst defense in the NFL. They're allowing 28.4 points per game. They can't stop a nosebleed. I mean, they're really terrible. And so I think Tampa's going to have huge success against this defense. On the flip side, I think we could see a blowout early, which would lead to a lot of garbage time points for Taylor Heinicke and this Washington offense, which, by the way, has some good talent. Terry McLaurin in this matchup without Carlton Davis, to me, is a mismatch. I think he has a huge game. Antonio Gibson as a receiver, I think, will be a factor. So I like this over here. I think this game's played in the 30s. Even though it could be a blowout, I think Washington can do enough in garbage time to hit this over.
All right. Well, I'm glad you ended talking about Washington on a positive note. You know, I'm here in DC, Brentley, and that defense is still a sore spot for many here in the nation's capital. But you talked about all of the offensive weapons on Washington, and it's true. Now we just need everything to mesh and come together. Taylor Heineke is that guy right now. I know you saw the news that right now it looks like Ryan Fitzpatrick won't be returning the season for Washington, which is a huge blow for this Washington football team and for DC sports fans. But look, the Washington football team has lost 5 of their last 6 games so far this season. They are 1-7 against the spread, and there is no reason to start backing them now. So give me the Buccaneers at -10 for my pick in this matchup. All right, Brentley, let's head to the next one. We need some better news, all right? Because this line was crazy in this one. But let's head to New Orleans Saints taking on the Tennessee Titans. The Titans put their 5-game winning streak on the line as 3-point favorites at home today versus the New Orleans Saints. The total is 43.5 in this one. Titans are without Julio Jones, who was placed on IR, sidelining him for at least the next 3 games. Today, we might even see history made as New Orleans Saints running back Mark Ingram needs just 20 yards to become the Saints' all-time rushing leader. Brentley, give me your thoughts on this matchup.
You know, I was tempted to take the Saints on the road here. I love Sean Payton in an underdog spot. Um, but this under to me is screams as the obvious bet. Derrick Henry, obviously won't be playing with the Titans. And I just feel like the Titans right now are being a little inflated. Last week they beat the brakes off the Rams, but when you really take a closer look at the box score, their offense was terrible. I think they got 195 total yards for the entire game. They were bailed out by 2 terrible Matt Stafford interceptions. They were extremely one-dimensional. They can't run the ball anymore without Derrick Henry. I love Adrian Peterson, arguably the best running back of all time to me, but he's no longer 24 years old, and he's just not an effective player. They're going against a Saints defense, which is arguably the best in the entire NFL. They can stop the run better than anybody in the league. And then without Julio Jones, all the Titans have is really A.J. Brown, and we already know Marshawn Lattimore can take away a team's number 1 receiver. I just don't expect much from the Titans offense. And then when you look at the Saints offense, no Alvin Kamara. So we already know they're going to be in trouble because he accounts for, I think, 75% of their total offense. So you're missing Alvin Kamara. You have Trevor Siemian as your starting quarterback. That's not a recipe for points. So I think this is a low-scoring game, a defensive battle. And I just can't see this overhitting. So I'm going with the under here, 43.5.
All right, Brentley, and you talked about it. Look, age is nothing but a number, but it's a real number. So AP, as much of a legend as he is, it gets to all of us eventually. It's just the facts and it's just real. And you talked about AK, Alvin Kamara, like he's done so much for the New Orleans Saints team. So without him, they are just a different look team. But look, for my pick in this one, the Titans are the top seed in the AFC at the moment and riding, again, a 5-game winning streak. PointsBet actually opened this game up with the Titans as a 3-point favorite. Over 60% of the tickets and handle are backing the Titans. Yet the number is moving toward the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is 3-1 straight up on the road this season. So give me the Saints at +3 for my pick in this matchup, in this game. It's going to be a good one. We know the Who Dat fans will be coming out as they are hoping for a win. All right, Brentley, let's head to our next matchup. We've got the Cleveland Browns taking on the New England Patriots. And what may be the game of the week, the Browns travel to Foxborough to face the Patriots as 2.5-point underdogs. The total has moved up to 45. Patriots running back Damian Harris is out for today's game. However, there is hope that Ramondre Stevenson will be cleared to play today, as he is listed as questionable due to a concussion. Meanwhile, the Browns won't have 3 of their 4 active running backs on Sunday in New England. So, Brentley, so many things to look out for in this matchup. Give me your thoughts on this game.
I feel like every week there's a game where I question, what does Vegas know that I don't? Because I just don't understand how the Browns are getting 2.5 points here against the Patriots. They are just simply the more talented football team at every single position, if you ask me. Right now, I feel like the Patriots are getting overvalued. Yes, they had 2 impressive wins recently against the Chargers and the Panthers, but The Chargers is a team they own every single year, so I'm not really too impressed about that. Then last week against the Panthers, Sam Darnold is a turnover machine. So it's like I feel like this team, while I have respect for their defense, is completely overvalued. Mac Jones is getting a lot of credit, but he's really relying on this running game and this defense to bail him out. He's not really taking shots down the field. He's dinking and dunking. And then, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but he is third in the NFL in turnover-worthy throws when pressured. So that tells me he is not the same quarterback when he has time in the pocket than when he doesn't. The Browns pass rush, I think you might have heard of a guy named Myles Garrett, arguably the best defensive player in football. I think he's going to wreak havoc today against this Patriots offensive line, cause a lot of problems for Mac Jones, and really mess up this entire offense, which is without Damian Harris, by the way. And then for the Browns offense, yeah, I get it. No Nick Chubb, no Kareem Hunt. You still got Dearness Johnson, who last time I checked when he started against the Broncos got 146 yards. And the Patriots defense, while it's good overall, they're not great stopping the run. They're actually better stopping the pass. So I do think the Browns will be able to have success on the ground running the football. Their defense is going to tee off on the Patriots. They're just a better football team. And I'm getting points. So I'm going with the Browns here, plus 2.5.
All right. Thank you so much, Brentley, for that one. And for my pick, look, this game opened with the Patriots as a 2.5-point favorite, but it was quickly bet down to a pick 'em. The news of Chug being out moved the Patriots back up to a 2.5-point favorite. Chubb is the Browns' best offensive player. I'll say that again. Chubb is the Browns' best offensive player. Give me Patriots at minus 2.5 for my pick in this game. Brentley, I'm already excited for this week of football. I feel like we have a lot of pretty good matchups to keep an eye on. We'll have to see how our picks turn out. All right, me and Brentley.
You got me stressed right now. You got me stressed. we're up against each other too much for this early round. I'm not feeling great anymore.
I'm sorry to ruin your day, but look, it's Sunday. It's a happy day, Brentley, and hopefully, maybe if we come out even, we need a tie. I feel like our leaderboard has never had a tie, Brentley, so maybe that's how we can become friends again, right? Maybe we'll get a tie this week. Fingers crossed. Coming up next, we've got the prop bet wheel, so stay tuned because we're ready to spin it to win it. More of the Money Down is next.
Jaime Eisner here with Tommy the Hitman, NFL Sharp for BetPrep here, breaking down his best bets of the week. Let's get right into it here. Week 10, double-digit weeks already. It's crazy how the season is flying by. It's going to be over soon, and because I love bad puns, speaking of overs, let's start there. There's a game you really like this week. Tell our viewers about it.
Yes, I like the over 53 in the Vikings-Chargers game, and Minnesota is really becoming the over team that they were last year, and it's mostly due to injuries. They're dealing with injuries to 4 of their top 6 defensive players, and they have very little depth behind these players. And last season, when they lost a lot of these guys, they allowed nearly over 30 points per game. The Chargers defense over the last month is rated dead last in success rate. They're 29th in EPA per play, and they're also dealing with a lot of injuries to their defensive backs, which Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen should be able to take advantage of. And also the Vikings possess an offense that could run on the Chargers. Then you have the Chargers on their side of the ball. Justin Herbert obviously having a tremendous year. The Vikings should be able to run on the Chargers, ranked 32nd in EPA per play, and run defense. Vikings are ranked 31st. I just see a ton of plus matchups for both of these offenses, like the over up to 54.
Let's talk about the second game on your list. It's a team coming off bye with 0 wins. Now, you're not necessarily saying they're going to win, but you like the Lions to cover more than a touchdown. 8.5 points is the spread right now. Why do you like the Lions this week to at least get close?
Yeah, so the Steelers are 0-4 against the spread as a favorite this season, and not covering as a favorite has really been a consistent theme during the Mike Tomlin era. The situational spot favors Detroit 0 off a bye, and the Steelers are on a short week off a pretty emotional, high-effort win against the Bears. The Steelers, without Chase Claypool, they're obviously without Juju Smith-Schuster, and this is an offense that just really isn't built to win by margin. They're actually 27th in yards per play this year, while the Detroit Lions are 28th. So you got an offense that isn't built to cover margin, a team that's lackadaisical as a favorite. It's more of a fade on the Steelers than it is a play on the Lions, but I like the Lions plus 8.5.
Let's talk about one more underdog here that you like. The Cleveland Browns are 2.5-point underdogs going into Foxborough against the Patriots. Maybe without Nick Chubb. We'll have to see what his status is and how many tests he can maybe clear between now and the start of that game. But you like the Browns to cover that.
Yeah, so I would obviously love for Nick Chubb to be in this game, but the Patriots are also dealing with injuries to their top 3 running backs, and James White, who's out for the season, Ramondre Stevenson, and Damian Harris. We know that the Patriots are a run-first team, while the Browns are 4th in the NFL in yards per carry allowed. And Mac Jones this season against pressure really struggled, only 5.5 yards per attempt, and the Browns are the number 2 team in the NFL in pressure rate. Plus, you have all this talk about Baker Mayfield and free Odell from Baker. Well, Baker's not really having that bad of a year. Right now, he's 5th in the NFL in yards per attempt, and that's despite dealing with injuries throughout this season. I have the Browns power rated as the clear better team, so anything as an underdog, I will gladly take Cleveland.
Well, there you have it, the 3 best bets for NFL Week 10. Tommy Hitman, thank you for joining me again this week, and we'll be back next week and every week throughout this elongated 18-week NFL regular season.
Hello and welcome back to The Money Down, presented by BetPrep, right here on the Draft Network's YouTube channel with Brentley Weissman and me, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Now, Brentley, I hope you're ready, because let's get ready to spin that wheel with our wheel of props. Are you ready to see the first one, Brentley?
Let's do it, of course.
All right, let's bring it up. We're spinning, we're spinning, we're spinning, we're spinning, we're spinning. And it looks like we are going to first land on, the Dallas Cowboys. All right, let's go, Brentley. Give us a player prop.
Yeah, what about their game last week against the Broncos? That was a major surprise. At least for me, I did not see that coming. I think we see a bounce back game for the Cowboys, and in particular, a bounce back game for Dak Prescott. I think the over-under here for him is 301.5 passing yards. I think he goes over this. Last week he only had 232 passing against the Broncos, so I think he's going to look to get back on the right track. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, they're going to be too much for this Falcons secondary. I think this is a classic get-right spot for this offense. They're going to look to really, avenge their disappointing their outing last week. So I think they're going to go all out here. I think this could be a high-scoring game as well, with the Falcons scoring a lot of points. So I like this over here. I think Dak gets back on the right track and has a huge game.
All right, Brentley. Well, I think we're eye to eye right now, because I'm also going to pick the over for this one with Dak Prescott. Dak is back, and this time against the Falcons. I think Dak should bounce back again versus that Falcons defense. So it looks like we're agreeing on that one, Brentley. So fingers crossed. Dak, make us look good, all right? We want to look good on this show, Dak. So we need you to come back and have a big game today. All right, let's head back to the wheel and see the next NFL team we'll be talking a player prop from. We're spinning, we're spinning, we're spinning, we're spinning. And it looks like, we are landing on the Green Bay Packers. Brentley, who do you want to discuss from this one for your player prop?
Yeah, I'm going to go A.J. Dillon, Kelsey, and his line to me is a little off. I think it's at 41.5 for rushing yards. I'm going under here just because he normally gets the bulk of his carries when the team's up ahead by a lot. He's either their fourth quarterback, grind out the game, the 4-minute offense type stuff. I think this game's going to be close. And so I think we're going to see a lot of Aaron Jones. We're going to see a lot of Aaron Rodgers in the passing game. I don't think A.J. Dillon's going to get the touches or the volume to hit this over. He's really only averaging 39.4 yards per carry per game anyways. So this is really above his average. So I'm going with the under here. I just don't think he has enough volume.
All right. For this one, Brentley, All right. I think I'm going to also agree with you. Oh no, you took the under. So I'm going to actually take the over. I'm going to go opposite of you because look, I just like Dylan to run well against the Seahawks team. I'm feeling good about it, Brentley. So on this one, I'm sorry. We got to go head to head and hopefully he makes me look good. But otherwise, Brentley, again, I always want you to do well on this show, but definitely one we'll keep an eye on. All right, let's head back to our wheel to spin and see who next we'll put Brentley up against. We are spinning, we're spinning, we're spinning. And this time, Brentley, we're landing on, the Minnesota Vikings. Give us a player from this one you'd like to discuss.
I mean, to me, it's Adam Thielen, and I have never lost on an Adam Thielen over bet. He's my most consistent guy I've been on all season. This game to me between the Chargers and Vikings has a shot to be the biggest highest scoring game of the weekend. Two really huge offenses, both can move the ball through the air. I think Adam Thielen has a huge game against a secondary that is without Michael Davis, potentially Asante Samuel Jr. They just lost Ryan Smith last year. This is a really banged up Charger secondary, people. Like, they could get shredded today by Thielen and Justin Jefferson. So I think Kirk Cousins has a big game. I think Adam Thielen clearly has a big game. The over here is 63.5. I'm taking that easily. I think he can go over 100 yards today. So taking Adam Thielen with the over.
Yes, you said it with your confident voice, Brentley. And I'm also taking the over in this one with Adam Thielen. I just think he's due for a big game. And like you said, I'm liking the numbers here. I'm liking his prospect. So I think he'll make our numbers match. And I think he'll make us look good, Brentley. I have him going over. All right, let's go back to the prop bet wheel and see who we are looking at next. We're spinning, we're spinning, we're spinning. And this time we are landing on, the Buffalo Bills. Brentley, who do you want to talk about on this one?
I mean, again, kind of like the Cowboys, the Bills' offense last week was atrocious. I mean, they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars, didn't even score a touchdown. So I think this is, again, your classic, your vintage get-right game. I think they beat the tar out of the Jets today. And I think they do that on offense with Josh Allen and particularly with Stephon Diggs. I'm taking the over here. I think it's 73.5 receiving yards. I think they shred this Jets passing defense, which I think is the third worst in the NFL. Diggs has been known to really go off against this bad defense. Their corners can't stick with him man-to-man. I think Josh Allen has a huge game as well, and I think Diggs is the beneficiary to that. So give me Diggs in a blow-up spot here against the Jets.
I love that you're believing in our guy Diggs. You know he's a Tarp, so you know I have a soft spot for him. Brentley. Also he's from the DMV like me. But I can't believe I'm saying this. But look, I have to go with the under on this one, Brentley. Diggs has just only gone over this number 3 times this season. I just don't feel comfortable picking that over. Again, it's hard to pick against the Terp, but I do have to go with the under for Stephon Diggs in this one. All right, DMV people, I hope you still love me. All right, I'm just looking at the numbers in this one. All right, Brentley, let's head back to the wheel for our next one. We are spinning, we're spinning, we're spinning, we're spinning. And it looks like this time we're landing on, the Cleveland Browns. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah, so I kind of teased it a little bit earlier when we talked about this game. And to me, it's the Baker Mayfield prop. I'm going under here. I think it's 225 and a half passing yards.
Yep, correct. Yep.
This is way above his season average. He's only averaging 213 passing yards. The Patriots defense, as I mentioned, is really strong covering the pass. I think they're 11th overall in total passing defense, while they're like 19th in total rushing defense. So to me, this screams the Browns are going to try to run the ball. Dearness Johnson, try to limit the opportunities for the Patriots to take the ball away, which they've shown they have the ability to do. And Baker Mayfield, as we know, is liable to toss some interceptions. So I don't think the Browns are going to be throwing the ball over the yard. So give me the under here for Baker Mayfield. Again, I think this is a really ground game for the Browns today.
Yeah, so Brentley, on this one, while you were talking, I was going check mark, check mark, check mark, check mark, because you hit all of the points. So I'm also doing the under on this one, Brentley, for Baker Mayfield. You said it. The Patriots defense, they're just going to make it tough for Baker, and I don't think he's going to succeed to get that over in this one. So give me the under. Really, that was fun. I like our props bet, Will. Hopefully the props bet, Will, is nice to us and makes us look good. And Jamie, if you're out there watching, we'll have to see whenever you come back to us how you fare up as well. That will do it for our Will of Props segment. Don't go anywhere because we will return with NFL breakdown. Stay tuned.
I'm Jaime Eisner here with BetPrep's player prop sharp Brad Feinberg to break down a handful of the best props for the coming week in the NFL. Brad, let's get right into it. Jared Goff, the over-unders, I'm looking at it right now, is 251.5 passing yards. Do you like the under here?
I do, Jamie. Listen, he's gone under. If I go back went on the BetPrep site, go to his last 11 games, he's gone under this 8 of 11 games. Now, his last 7 games this year, he's gone under. And he's only averaging about 236 yards a game in this. We know at Pittsburgh, it's never an easy game, right? To me, again, I would have made this over-under, quite frankly, probably closer to 231.5, 232, and that number. I thought this was about 20 yards too high. Plus, I think there'll be a lot of runs from Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh can maybe control the clock somewhat in a game like this. Just don't think Goff's that good on top of it. I think this is at least a 60% winning bet, a little better.
All right, the next one up here is a guy that's reemerged a little bit these last few weeks, Jordan Howard. He's gotten the end zone 3 times over these last couple of weeks. It's been a real emergence. His over-under is set right now at 48.5 rushing yards, Brad. Which way are you on it?
Well, look, give him credit, right, Jamie? He was a total afterthought, right? Everyone thought he was basically out of the league, done. Okay, had a relatively nice career. And, he was put out the pasture. But his last couple games, he's gotten 57 and 71 yards. But I'm going to fight back on that well, first of all, Boston Scott, in my opinion, Jimmy, is still going to get legitimate run in this game, okay, where I think they'll split the carries. And the coach, Sirianni, really prefers to pass the ball. Now, he had a huge success running the ball 2 weeks ago against Detroit. They won that game. And they did have success last week running the ball in a game. They somewhat controlled the clock against it. They were outmatched against the Chargers, but they got it to a close game because Chargers are so bad against the run. But I felt like game flow, Jamie, went perfectly the last 2 weeks for Howard to get those 57 and 71 yards. Now they're on the road facing a decent team in Denver who is pretty decent against the run as well. Rush defense-wise, losing Von Miller is not going to hurt them there. To me, again, I think that I think Sirianni is looking for any excuse to have to go to the pass or whatnot. I think this is too big of a number. I would have made this over under probably honestly like 38.5. Just think it's too high. So many things can happen for him to go under here, and only a lot of things have to happen to go over. He's not a guy who's going to break off a 25-yard run. He's not that kind of player. Give me under 48.5 here.
All right, let's move on to the next one. It's another running back. It's Austin Eckler. The Chargers host the Minnesota Vikings. 36.5 is his receiving yards prop, Brad. You like the over here?
I do. Look, I went back, Jamie. I looked at BetPrep again. His last 34 games, he's gone over 21 of 34 games. So it's like about a 62% winning bet. And he's gone over, in his last 7 games this year, he's gone over 5 of the last 7. Okay, averaging around 47 yards a game. And look at the over-under. The over-under of this game, Jamie, I believe right now sitting around 53-ish. I think it's right there at the highest total game of the day. I'm just expecting a lot of offense in this game, a lot of points in this game. Austin Eckler, again, this is below his season average. I don't know why in a high tempo, like high scoring kind of game, you'd make this one lower. Again, I think this is a 60% winning bet.
Let's move on to wide receivers now. Russell Gage has been a little bit all over the place for him in Calvin Ridley's absence. 53.5 is where his line is for receiving yards in week 10. Which way are you leaning?
Well, look, listen, again, Russell Gage had a nice year last year. He averaged around 50 yards a game, if I recall correctly, going by the numbers. And he's gone under this 3 of 5 times this year, averaging 32 yards a game. Now, he did go over his last 2 games, okay, which is why we're seeing this number being this high. But here's the thing, like, I'm expecting a lot of digs to be on him, Trayvon Diggs. I just don't think he's going to have a great game. I don't like this Atlanta offense. We'll talk about Matt Ryan soon. And I think Dallas is going to win this game. I think Dallas will control the clock. I just don't think he's a great player, Russell Gage. And I think that this is the kind of team. It's not like he's Calvin Ridley, right, where I know Calvin Ridley's going to get his share. To me, Russell Gage is the kind of guy, Jamie, where he could get 2 catches or freaking, only 3 targets, I wouldn't blink an eye. He's not a great player. It's kind of like when Mike Davis went to this team. Like, oh, Mike Davis, he's going to be amazing. He's going to be the full-time back. Well, I'd fought back on him like, well, it's not that good. So it's like anyone can come in and just take Mike Davis's job. To me, Russell Gage, same kind of thing. He's just not that good. So if he's the quote-unquote de facto number 1, I don't really factor in that too much because I just don't think he's that great of a player. I like the under.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Money Down, airing live on the Draft Network's YouTube channel, presented by BetPrep. Thanks so much for staying with us. It's now time to welcome in Patrick Everson of Props US in conjunction with BetPrep for our BetPrep breakdown. Welcome, Patrick, to the show. It's good to see you back. How are you?
Good morning, Kelsey, from the best time zone. I am here at Mandalay Bay Sportsbook as per usual on Sunday morning. Awesome space, just a great spot to take in the games. Anytime you're in Vegas, well, I'm always in Vegas, but anytime you're in Vegas for NFL, it's a good time.
Yes, definitely. Everybody will hopefully have to stop by there. Like you said, it's a good time while in Las Vegas. And let's get to our first game, Patrick. We're going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Green Bay Packers. Everyone knows Russell Wilson back in action, Aaron Rodgers back in action. Where is the money on the Seahawks-Packers game?
This is pretty interesting because I think, Kelsey, people expected this line to go from 3 or 3.5 up after the Aaron Rodgers news came out. That's not what's happening at all. And in fact, it went down to -3 yesterday, late last night at BetMGM Nevada on sharp play on the Seahawks at +3.5. So this has been pretty interesting. It's basically 3.5 still everywhere. I guess everybody was expecting Aaron Rodgers to play, and 3.5 is the number, which I think is fascinating. Right now at BetMGM Nevada, tickets 3-1 Packers, but money 3-1 Seahawks. And again, there's sharp play on Seattle as well. And perhaps not surprisingly, tickets and money running to the under in this game. That total came down, went up, came back down. A little bit of money running to the under. $30,000 play at +3.5, just more of a public play on the Seahawks at +3.5. But again, sharp play on Seattle as well. It's a fascinating game. I'm taking Green Bay -3. I mean, geez, you're giving me Aaron Rodgers at home laying a field goal. Let's go.
Let's go, Patrick. Let's go. And with that one, let's go to the next matchup that we have. Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. We want to hear, what are you hearing on the Chiefs-Raiders game?
Well, look, the Raiders get bet pretty well, have been getting bet pretty well this season in Las Vegas, especially since they're playing a little bit. They started good. They got bet well, had a little bit of a slump, now kind of bouncing back, although last week, again, was another regression. So a tough game tonight, but they're probably going to be bet pretty well. And literally, I mean, if you rip down this big screen behind me, this wall of big screens, and you were Bryson DeChambeau, you could probably hit a golf ball to the stadium. We're right there. It's literally right across the highway.
Right.
So a big Sunday night football game. And right now, BetMGM Nevada, it is among the most bet games of the day, even though it's early. So this is only going to get larger as the day goes on, no question. A lot of tickets on both teams, Scott Shelton said. A little bit more on the Chiefs. Money about 2-1 on the Chiefs. Really good two-way on the total as well. Kind of interesting here that there's more money on the Chiefs at this point. But again, we got a long way to go today. That said, Kelsey, if the favorites do well today, there's certainly going to be a lot of parlays, money line parlays, and so forth running to the Chiefs tonight. That's just going to be the popular play, at least nationally. Maybe not as much locally here in Vegas with the local bias, but nationally, I think for sure.
All right, something we'll have to keep an eye on. All eyes on Las Vegas. And for our next matchup, Patrick, we have the New Orleans Saints taking on the Tennessee Titans. We know Saints running back Alvin Kamara was ruled out due to a knee injury, but Titans looking for their 6th straight win against the Saints. So where is the money on the Saints-Titans game?
BetMGM nationally and locally, because the bet came in here in Las Vegas this morning, way upside down on the Titans. They took a $300,000 play on Titans -3 this morning, and that was here at BetMGM Nevada. It was actually looking a little like they needed the Saints, but this has come way back. The big $300,000 play. Tickets 3-1 Titans, money 3.5-1 Titans here at BetMGM Nevada. And again, nationally, they're upside down on the Titans as well. They are definitely big Saints fans at BetMGM today.
All right, we're hearing that one. And Patrick, for our last matchup, I want to talk to you about the Cleveland Browns taking on the New England Patriots. We know the Browns will be shorthanded in the backfield. What are you hearing on the Browns-Patriots game?
So this is interesting and this is why I differentiate between BetMGM Nevada sometimes and BetMGM nationally. So BetMGM Nevada definitely needs the Browns in this game. $50,000 bet at -2.5 on the Patriots. Several low five-figure plays on the Patriots. The public definitely on the Patriots. So, again, here behind the counter, BetMGM Nevada, they need the Browns. But Jason Scott, Vice President of Trading for BetMGM nationwide, says, look, this is actually a pretty neutral game, good two-way action on this game. So they're not as concerned nationally about the Patriots-Browns as they might be here in Las Vegas.
All right. All good information, Patrick. We appreciate you so much for joining us every week. We can't wait to have you back next week. And coming up next, we will feature our Go for Two picks and this week's bold bet. So stay tuned to the Draft Network because more of the Money Down is next. Welcome back into the Money Down. We will now turn our attention to the leaderboard after 9 weeks of football action. We're going to see who fared out the best for last week's football action. Are you ready, Brentley, to see where we stand? All right.
I think I'm ready.
All right,
oh, there we go.
You do well when Jamie's not here, huh? Enjoy it, Brentley. Enjoy it. Well deserved.
I am enjoying it greatly. You know, I've been on the other end of this leaderboard for most of the week, so it's nice to come out on top finally for once.
Exactly. Like, I guess I'm riding high in the middle, but can't wait to get back. And can't wait till we all get back also in the positives, right? We're trying to trend in the right direction. But leaderboard, always so fun to look at who is on top after every week of football action. All right, Brentley, I hope you're ready because it's now time for our Go for Two picks, and I'm ready to hear your first one.
Yeah, my first one is a game we talked about already, and I'm going back to this Browns-Patriots game. I just don't understand how the better team is getting points. Like, we're getting 2.5 points. It blows my mind, honestly. I mean, the Browns defense is outstanding this season. Myles Garrett, again, is having a defensive player of the year type season. I think he's going to wreck New England's offensive line. And then what New England wants to do, they're not going to be able to do. They want to be able to run the ball, against this Browns defense. The Browns defense, I think, is 7th in the NFL in stopping the run. That's what they do well, is defend the run. And so if you make the Patriots offense one-dimensional, where Mac Jones has to drop back, call it 25 to 30 times a game, that's bad news. Because, again, Myles Garrett and this Browns defense is going to get after you. So I think just the Browns roster, that this team, this coaching staff, they're just better than New England right now. And I'm getting points. So to me, this is an easy one. I'm going with the Browns plus 2.5 on the road.
All right, Brentley, we will take that one. And for my first Go for Two pick, I'm looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars versus Indianapolis Colts matchup. Look, since the 2018 season, the Indianapolis Colts are 2-4 against the spread versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Urban Meyer's crew has struggled this season, but they have won, all right? They have won 2 of their last 3 games. So I think, look, sometimes things trend in the right direction, so hopefully that's the case. But right now, give me Jaguars plus 10 for my first Go for Two pick in this game.
Has to be Money Down first, where someone actually took the Jaguars for your Go for Two. I think this has to be a first.
Look, somebody has to be the first, Brentley. I made it myself for this one. Hopefully, they make me look good. All right, Jaguars. So, any Jaguars fans, Duval, I need y'all to show up. All right. All right. For the second go for two pick, Brentley. What are you going for this one?
I'm going again back to a game I already talked about, with Adam Thielen, but I'm going with on the opposite end with Mike Williams. I think his prop right now is 60.5 receiving yards. This is well below his season average. I think he's averaging close to 71 yards per game. He, if you remember, in the first month of the season was like leading the league in receiving for a lot of the month of September. He's tapered down a bit. Both Keenan Allen battling a knee injury all week this week. He's going to play, but he won't be 100% healthy. I think this is a game we see Mike Williams targeted a lot. I think this game is going to be a high-scoring affair. We should see Herbert drop back at least 35 times a game per time this game. So I think Williams has a huge game against the secondary, which is the 19th in the NFL. So they're not great at stopping the pass. So again, I think Williams has a monster game today. So give me the over here for 60.5.
All right, Brentley taking me over on that one. And for my second go for two pick, I'm looking at the Atlanta Falcons versus Dallas Cowboys game. I know all of the Cowboys fans will be closely watching this one after last week. And look, after a poor start to the season, the Falcons have won 3 of their last 4 games. Atlanta is now 4-4 against the spread on the season, as well as 3-1 against the spread and on the money line on the road. I think Dallas will win a shootout, but the Falcons will cover the spread. That's how I'm feeling. My official play on the game will be on the over. For my edge, give me 54.5 for this matchup. All right, Brentley. Feeling good after our go for two picks. So hopefully you know what that means. It's now time to go to our bold bet. I want to see how bold you got this week, Brentley. Give us your bold bet for this week 10 of football.
So I made my bold bet before I heard the news about Big Ben being out today with COVID. I'm taking the Lions on an alternative line plus 3.5. Before the Big Ben news, I think they were plus 8 or 9, I want to say. Now they're plus 6. I kind of want to earn more money, and I have some faith in the Lions here, so I'm teasing this down a bit. The plus 3.5, getting better odds. I think even if Big Ben was going to play, this game is going to be close. The Steelers' offense is not great. They're struggling throwing the ball down the field. Chase Claypool's going to be out. And I just feel like the Lions offense is going to be able to score points this week. They're going to be able to keep this game close. Even now with Mason Rudolph, I definitely feel confident in this one. I think Jared Goff has a big game today. Same with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I like the Lions here, plus 3.5. I kind of like the Lions money line. Again, I don't think this team's going to winless. The win's going to come. And it could be this week. So I'm riding with the Lions here, plus 3.5, but don't be surprised for a money line win.
A win is going to come. Put it on a t-shirt, wear it out loud and proud. Brentley Weissman said it here first on this show. For my bold bet, look, I'm looking at San Francisco. I have them winning outright on Monday Night Football under Kyle Shanahan. The Niners are 23-17 as underdogs. I think they will not only cover, but pull off the upset. All right. I have them pulling off the upset. So again, we go bold on this show with our bold bets, Brentley. I'm liking it. And again, hopefully we come out on top. And to everyone listening, another episode of The Money Down is now in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in and staying with us all show long. We hope to see you next week, same time, same place at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time on the NFL Money Down Show presented by BetPrep. On Saturday mornings, also be sure to check out the college version of the show on the Money Down College Show ahead of a full slate of college football games. And please, please, please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We can't wait to see you all next show. Bye, guys.